Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV, and we're here today with our IT Modernization Heroes series. And I'm talking with Chad Sheridan, the CIO of the Department of Agriculture's Risk Management Agency. Chad, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, can you share with our viewers a success story on how your agency has made significant headways when it comes to modernizing IT?
I think one of our biggest success stories was finished up about a year or so ago.
Okay.
One of our big applications for crop insurance, this is what our agency supports, is called our escrow application. What we do is we are a public-private partnership with industry. They sell and service policies, we reinsure them. So one of the big things we do is for crop insurance, when they submit a validated claim to us, they've got to pay the farmer in 3 days.
Okay.
They establish escrow accounts, and we have to pay their escrow accounts for the portion that portion of the premium they've given to us for reinsurance within 3 days. So extremely important. In our biggest years, we're paying $500 million a week out of the system. So I had a hypothesis about 2.5 years ago that we could use business process management to make this work better. So we went out and bought a suite of tools for business process management and built this application in BPM using agile development, using new techniques and hiring some outside folks that are familiar with the system. And it did two things. One, it delivered, and two, it actually bootstrapped our agile system development lifecycle. So we did it really in two increments. The first increment, while the development went well, we didn't manage our stakeholders very well. So we went through round two. When we got to round two, we actually delivered 110% of the functionality at 90% of the cost. So at the end of the day, we ended up with a system that's in the cloud, is built off a maintainable platform, and delivers the job at significant and reduced maintenance costs.
Wow. Okay. So, next question. The administration has proposed a revolving $3.1 billion IT modernization fund. What ideas does your agency have, or what types of systems will be better suited to use and inject this money into?
It's perfect that you asked that, because my agency has been one of a couple of agencies within ag that are working with 18F, who are helping OMB work the policy side of this. So we've seen some of the draft guidance and draft criteria that are going to be used to help work with 18F to help better the policy before it comes out. So we've actually filled out our form already for our policy acceptance system. And our rationale, and I think we're fortunate because our portfolio is not quite as, maybe not quite as old as some agencies, but this one's about 7-8 years old, and the way it was built, there's a lot of technical debt. So we looked at it from the vantage point of how can I eliminate the most technical debt in a system that I tend to not want to go work on. So we went under the assumption that while we don't have a significant security flaw to address, what are those kinds of things where a little boost right now might not only pay back dividends, but also allow me to move development to the left?
Okay. All right. Very, very interesting. What is the biggest technology challenge you've encountered inside your IT modernization program, and what has to change in order to accelerate the modernization efforts?
I think it's this, for us, I think it's the technical debt, right? Is the way we built things, going back to client server, going back to monolithic applications, going back to heavily coupled, larger applications. Now we're building things small, loosely coupled, microservices kind of thing. So our biggest challenge is we might be building new capabilities where all this new and fun stuff is, but we have trouble tackling that older stuff. So I like the idea of the modernization fund because in my view, the worst that could happen, because it is a payback,
right?
But the worst that can happen is you take your development portfolio and you move it to the left. So assuming you get no savings out of it and you've got to sacrifice your budget in the out years to pay back the money you get now, you're still getting more value earlier. And I don't think that's what most agencies will see. I think they'll see moving work and business value earlier, as well as they're going to reduce their costs. So I think it's a great idea. Okay.
Final question: how have advances in things like cloud services and containerization and agile development, everything, a lot of things that we just talked about earlier, How has that affected your outlook or your plans for what you're doing 18 months down the road when it comes to IT modernization?
I think it's a huge part of what we're building everything to be cloud ready. I don't know that we've gotten as far into containerization as we would have liked.
Okay.
But everything we build is ready to be ported over to the cloud. We build it with that in mind. I think there's an impediment there because while I think we've made a lot of good strides with FedRAMP, I don't know that we've gotten the accreditation process in aggregate, all the way from FedRAMP to an ATO and an agency for a system is not quite agile, small a agile. It's not quite nimble. It's still taking us 9 months to accredit a system, right? And FedRAMP's taken at times longer than that. And you can see lately, they know that that's a problem, right? The technology is moving faster than our old processes can keep up with it. So I think our biggest impediment is not technological, it's process.
Interesting. Well, appreciate your insight, Chad. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks
today.
for having me.